We are continuing on with our NHL Season Preview series. Today we jump over to the Western Conference in East Central Division and analyze the Colorado Avalanche. This is a team that's had a lot of success the past couple of years, but have undergone a lot of changes. Can they take some steps this year and move forward? We'll discuss that coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, today we're taking a look at the Colorado Avalanche and previewing their 2021-22 NHL season. We're going to recap what happened last year. We're going to take a look at who their leaders were, and then we're going to take a look at all the changes they've undergone, look at the exits, the additions, and where things are at today. Take a look at their depth charts, and I'll give you my thoughts and predictions on how I feel things are going to go for the upcoming season. So the Colorado Avalanche had an excellent year last year with a 39-13-4 record for 82 points in the rejigged Western Division last year. Ended up losing in the second round of the playoffs to the Vegas Golden Knights. They ended up having Mikko Rantanen, Nathan MacKinnon, and Gabriel Landeskog be their top three scorers. No big surprise there. Rantanen led the way with goals with 30. He also had 36 assists and 66 points. Nathan MacKinnon was number 2 with 20 goals and 45 assists, which was a team high for 65 points. And Captain Gabriel Landeskog scored 20 goals and 30 assists for 52 points. Now, this team also was one of the most potent teams in the NHL, leading the way with the most goals for, with 197, while only giving up 133, which was third best. They had an awesome power play with a 22.7% conversion rate and an 83% penalty kill. So this team was really having a ton of success at both ends of the ice, on special teams, 5-on-5, you name it. They were really, really strong last year. Now, of course, like I mentioned, even though they had a lot of success, they have a lot of changes here. So let's first take a look at the players that have exited this franchise. First up, you got Jonas Donskoi, who was the selection for the expansion draft going to the Seattle Kraken. They also lost starting goaltender and Vezina-nominated goalie Philip Grubauer, who ended up also going to the Kraken via free agency. That was a big loss and something that, they really, I'm not sure you can really say they foresaw it coming, but at the end of the day, Grubauer was able to get more money. It was kind of down to Grubauer or Landeskog. I really suspect that they were not going to be able to keep both players. They signed Landeskog to a long-term deal, and that kind of eliminated the amount of money they could put towards goaltending, and Grubauer exits to the Kraken. Brendan Saad, also a player they probably were interested in keeping, but just could not make the money work. So again, Brendan Saad leaves and goes to the St. Louis Blues. Ryan Graves, another player they probably didn't really want to lose, but felt they were endangered to have him be the selection at the expansion draft, so they traded him to New Jersey. Of course, Donskoi ended up being that player instead. Pierre Bellemare ends up signing as a free agent with Tampa. Connor Timmins was then used as a trade piece with the Arizona Coyotes to replace goaltender Philip Grubauer. Since they were in a bit of a predicament, they had to quickly put together a trade, and they also lost a couple of veterans who they brought in, Carl Soderberg and Devin Dubnyk. No real big losses there, no big surprises there. And at the same time, I don't think there's anything too substantial here that we didn't expect. I think Grubauer is the main one that many of us wouldn't necessarily have predicted leaving the franchise. Now, before we go into the additions, I do want to pause for a moment and acknowledge one of our channel sponsors, SJSTer Smart Wallets. Top Shelf Hockey is proud to be sponsored by SJSTer. Forbes calls SJSTer the most successful smart wallet brand in the world. They certainly have high-quality products, high-grade leather. You can put all your cards in your wallet with RFID protection, and you can track it worldwide. That's the best part. You don't have to worry about losing your wallet and not being able to track it down. They have a great selection of products to choose from here, a variety of colors and styles, something to surely help for everyone. As you can see in the demonstration here for the product I have, this is a beautiful packaging, high quality. When you open it up, you get a high quality wallet with lots of slots for your cards. You have yourself a money clip if you want to carry cash on you here as well. And certainly, as you can see, the quality is outstanding. And here you can see the switch where you can help open up your cards. You just one little click and boom, everything fans out right in front of you. Easy to access. Your cards are protected. And here's the back where you have yet another slot. A terrific overall product, and I can't recommend these enough. extra ships worldwide, and you can check out the link down below in the description as well as the pinned comment to buy yours today. So thanks very much for watching that promotional content. I do greatly appreciate it. Now jumping in to the additions here. The Avalanche have gone about some business to replace some of these lost players. They've signed Darren Helm as a free agent from the Detroit Red Wings. Essentially, he can do some of the things that you saw from a guy like Bellemare, for example. He can be a bottom six forward, still a decent skater, can help kill penalties. Darcy Kuemper is the goaltender they acquired from the Arizona Coyotes. He will have the starting role. After losing Grubauer, they pulled off a trade to acquire him. They also got Curtis McDermott, who they picked up through Seattle as well, who obviously ended up with the Kraken through expansion. And now he's going to add some size and strength to their blue line, which is certainly necessary. They also signed veteran defenseman Ryan Murray, who's also another vet who can help their blue line. They get youngster Dylan Sakura on a free agent contract. They bring in Jack Johnson on a PTO, and they did get Mikhail Maltsev, who was the piece coming back from New Jersey, for Ryan Graves, who actually looks like a pretty solid younger player as well. So to me, that's also a good pickup. So ultimately, I know one of the big factors that led to the Avalanche losing in the playoffs to me is their blue line. As much as it's very offensive and dynamic, they were needing some more size and strength back there. Some of their smaller D, like a Jerard, for example, had a hard time and felt like they were kind of pushed around a little bit. And to me, that needed to be addressed, and it's certainly something that they did, in fact, do. Now, losing Ryan Graves, though, who was one of their bigger defenders, does not really help in that regard. But getting a guy like McDermott back there, of course, having Erik Johnson come back healthy will also be important. He certainly has very good size and strength that he can provide back there on that blue line as well. So now let's take a look at the depth charts, which we're going to look at courtesy of dailyfaceoff.com and see how this lineup projects to start the year. And then I'll give you my thoughts on how I think they're going to do. Looking at the forward group, no big surprise. Top line will be McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog. The big trio will still be together. Line 2 likely going to be Kadri, Burakovsky, and JT Compher. So another very capable scoring line. Of course, I mean, not to the degree that the first line is, but still some good players there. Your line 3 likely going to consist of Newhook, Jost, and Nichushkin. That, to me, makes a lot of sense. Alex Newhook, I think, will also be a player getting a more prominent role this year. We saw what he could do last year towards the end of the year into the playoffs. Getting some experience there will be very helpful to help him be more confident in his first full campaign. And Jost has had a new contract. That should give him a little bit of a boost as well. And to me, that's a decent third line. And it may not be exactly like that, but I can see Newhook kind of being a mainstay there. And then your fourth line of O'Connor, Helm, and Maltsev possibly making up the rest of your bottom six. So, I mean, this is a little bit top-heavy like usual, but that top-heavy line really provides so much for them that it's hard not to like the group of forwards they have put together. But given what they had before, it's probably a little bit weaker, but at the same time, you need guys like Newhook to step up and hopefully have a solid full-year rookie campaign. Hopefully Tyson Jost can maybe do a little bit more too. That would also go a long way in helping this team. On the back end, Devon Toews and Cale Makar, one of the best top young blue line pairs in the NHL, in my opinion. Very dynamic, complement each other well. That's going to be an excellent top pair. Pairing Johnson on the second pair with Jerard, I think, would be fantastic. Hopefully Johnson can stay healthy this year. That, to me, is a nice choice. You got Byram and Murray. And, of course, McDermott can slot in there as well. I wouldn't even be shocked if they use McDermott with Byram, and maybe that Murray might even end up being that extra guy. I think it's going to boil down to those two guys kind of battling it out here for that number 6 spot on the blue line. We'll see. They also have Jack Johnson on a PTO, who I don't really see fit in there myself, but we'll see what the Avalanche end up deciding. Of course, they can put together some pretty lethal power play units with Makar, McKinnon, Landeskog, Kadri, Rantanen. So, I mean, that's a pretty potent lineup. Of course, we saw some pretty significant re-signings this year with Makar getting into a long-term deal as well as Gabriel Landeskog. Those are both monster contracts, which are going to be huge parts of this franchise for many, many years to come. So at the end of the day here, I mean, this team still looks pretty darn good. But, of course, we do have some question marks. Like, to me, I think the blue line is going to be as good or better. Like I said, all year it was very dynamic. I think now we could say it's probably built a little bit better for playoffs. If they can go into the playoffs again with Johnson healthy, and then you get McDermott and Ryan Murray, to me, mix in with Devontae, Cale Makar, Sam Girard, Bowen Byram, that just gives you a better mix of mobility, puck moving, speed, along with your size and your physicality, and I think they'll balance each other out a little bit better. Up front, like I said, you still have the same potent line that you've seen in a while with McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen. And then, of course, like in the middle of your lineup, though, you are a little bit weaker. So you might see the offense maybe slack off a little bit because you're probably not going to get that secondary scoring like you might have before. Not having Brandon Saad there, to me, is going to be a big blow, along with Jonas Donskoy. I mean, those are both guys that are capable of giving you 20 goals, right? So, you have guys like Newhook and Jost who you're hoping can pick up that slack, but it's just an unproven commodity right now, so a lot of that is going to be dependent on how those youngsters can perform. And of course, between the pipes, Darcy Kuemper, a very capable goaltender as well. Can he stay healthy? And can he play at the level that Grubauer has? I'm going to say maybe. It's a good chance. I really like Kuemper's game, but it is some risk involved here, given how well Grubauer has played for them the past couple of seasons. So are the Avalanche a better team than before? I'm going to say maybe slightly weaker, but at the same time, I think they're better built for playoffs, which is almost more important. But over the course of an 82-game season, I can see their record maybe slipping just a little bit. But at the same time, they're going back to the old divisions. The Central Division is going to be highly competitive. They're going to have teams like the Winnipeg Jets, like the St. Louis Blues, like the Minnesota Wild on their tails. Chicago looks like they've certainly gotten better as well this year. Arizona now, they're clearly looking to tank by the looks of things, and they're going to be new to the division. You get Dallas in the mix, they're looking to bounce back. So it's going to be a tough division. So I can see them maybe not quite winning quite as many games in the regular season, maybe still likely finishing at the top. I still project them to be in first place, but I think it's going to be tighter, and I think almost like I said, taking a small step back, but being built better for playoffs so that they'll be able to have a better chance at going on a longer run when they get there. I mean, this past year we saw Darcy Kuemper go with Team Canada to the World Championships, had a slow start, but then the whole team took off, ended up winning a gold medal in dramatic fashion, and to me, that'll be a nice boost for his confidence too going into this upcoming year. So I still project the Avalanche to be one of the top teams in the NHL, one of the top Stanley Cup contending favorites. I would say they're going to finish in first place in the Central Division, but like I said, have a little bit of a tighter leash there. I'm not sure they're going to win the division by a whole lot. It's going to be really, really tight, and the teams that are on their heels are not going to be behind them by a whole lot here. So let me know what your thoughts are on the new contracts that further superstars like Landeskog and Makar. Overall, do you see them as a better team? Can they get further in the playoffs this year? Like I said, they made a ton of moves for a team with a lot of success this year, but we've seen that happen quite a bit between the expansion draft and a tight cap and a flat cap. It's kind of forced teams, even when you're quite successful, to make more changes than you probably would normally see. So let me know your thoughts down below. We'll discuss this further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We will keep you up to date with all the latest news, rumors, and analysis on all 32 NHL teams. Of course, plenty more previews coming in this series as well. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.